If only your local saddle doctor was better at these sort of social media posts, they would be better high quality. But all I can tell you is that I'm real. This is real. So I'm going to show you, excuse me, I'm still getting over this cough. I'm going to show you some girths and some differences and things to look out for when you're choosing a girth. Because next to saddle fitting, girths are the most important thing. Well, pads, we'll talk about pads at some point too, but girths. So many times I go out to do a saddle fit and it turns out it's actually the girth causing the problem. So if you notice when you're putting your saddle on your horse, he's fine until you go to girth it up. It could be a sign that it's the girth and not the saddle. So ways to sort of check that is when you're putting the saddle on, you can kind of push on the saddle and move it around. And if he just doesn't care, that's usually a good sign. And then when you go to girth it up or you start putting the girth on, he gets grouchy and swings his tail or reaches back to bite you or anything like that. That could be a sign of the girth. Girths are not meant to last forever. Any wear and tear, cracking, the elastic stretched out, any sort of girth gulls, things like that, those are all signs that your girth is not working. So if your girth is really old and you've used it on piles of horses, get a new one. Sweat in horses can be very acidic. It's also salty, so it will harden up the leather and rot it. It will also rot out the soft inside. And not all horses are the same, so you've got to find the girth that fits your horse right. I'm hoping to do a post on girth lines this month as well, because all the horses have different girth lines. Some have very narrow ones, some have it right up and behind their elbows, some are further back. And of course, where the shoulder and the girth line match up is important. And anyway, let's get to it. So when you're looking for girths, we'll talk about long girths here first, okay? So we used to have these girths here where they'd have one side with no elastic and the other side with elastic, or no elastic altogether. No good, okay? If you have one side with elastic and one side without, that means you're constantly having a pull on one side. One side is always getting pulled. If you have no elastic, then it also means that you can't really evenly tighten up your girth. So you're pulling against just, straight muscle, ligament, tendon, the whole thing, bone, and you're not going to get a true feeling on the tightness. I do believe elastic is the best way to go. So yeah, when the elastic's on one side, you're just getting the pull on the one side. So no good. Here's another one with this sort of, I think they call this like a Windtech material. Synthetic girth. Some horses don't like leather. I understand that. The rules still apply. This side, one side, no elastic. Other side with elastic. Not okay. When you're looking at sort of generic girths like this, synthetic girths of any sort, do not ever buy anyone with two elastics. Okay? Three is it. 3 minimal. If you can pull the girth like this, then it's too stretchy. Elastic on a girth should be like this. I can't pull it. When the horse breathes, he'll be able to pull that elastic. But when you are going to tighten up the girth and you pull, and these two pieces just stretch right out, it's not doing anything. It's very weak, and you can over tighten it. You'll find there's some of those ones that are like, fleece, a fake sheepskin with elastic. Double elastic is no good, okay? 3 layers. Anytime you see any wear or tear on the elastic where it's starting to shred, replace it. Either get a new girth or get the elastic fixed, because once the elastic starts to go, that's it. This is what's holding you on your horse, so really important, okay? This is one of my standard long girths. It's got a little bit of shape for the elbows, a little cut back here. This goes to the front. So it goes up into the sternum a little bit more here. It's got triple elastic, English made elastic on both sides. I really can't pull that out, okay? Both sides, triple elastic, and that's about as long as it should be. It's just to let the horse breathe. It's just to help you get up to that hole, okay? Most horses should be able to go in a girth like this. Now, when we're talking about slipping saddles and stuff, a good leather girth with strong elastics on both sides will be your best thing. This is roly-poly left and right, things like that. Any of those other girths, the fleecy girths, anything like that, are only going to add to any roly-poly shapes like that. So this is a basic, standard, long girth, okay? Then, this girth here, this is one of mine. You can see it has a little bit of forward shape there. Cut back at the elbow, very narrow through here. This is for your narrow girth-lined horse, okay? It's Velcro over the buckles. Again, elastic on the dressage girth, very minimal. And in a dressage girth, we have double elastic, but it's very short. Again, you can't really pull it, okay? And then the buckles are covered up to protect the horse from it, okay? That's for your narrow girth-lined horse. You've probably seen these on the market for a while. This was the adjustable buckle girth. Now, I never really liked these. I found them really a pain in the ass because you'd go to girth one up and that would happen. And then you'd have to get it and balance it back up. And then you had this weird, you can see the way this keeper worked. See, it got rolled out because somebody would go to do up one. So it was very tricky to get the pressure even. Then all the pressure on this entire girth is on this piece here. That's it. Piece of elastic, 2 buckles pulled there, all the tightness through here. Yeah, they gave you lots of padding, but these often slid off the girth onto the horse. Again, don't recommend it. Not a great design. String girths. We don't see these a lot anymore, but they were really, really good. Never caused girth pulls. They could roll up and be narrow where they needed to. The horses could breathe through them. We don't see them a lot, but really cool. String girths have their use, and I believe they're still being used in a lot of places. Wintec dressage girth. They do have elastic in here. These are totally fine. Again, if everything's in good condition, no cracks, no nothing like that. I do get some horses don't like leather. That's fine. But you must have elastic. Okay, again, if you can't do any stretching, then it's just going to get tight on the horse. This is a County Logic girth. This is a bit of a shoulder relief girth, okay? I'll pull out another shoulder relief girth here. This is one of mine. I did make a post on the weekend. It was a reposted one I did a while back on shoulder relief girths. So if your saddle wants to slide forward onto your horse's neck or up on his shoulders, these types of girths are great for that, okay? Anything that moves the buckles back, moves the girth buckles back, and lets the girth go forward into the front legs of the horse, is helping keep the saddle back. It is a prescription girth. I know that sounds funny. This is a girth I only sell to people that have overly big shoulder movement or horses like Friesians and that where the saddles have to sit further back, or saddles that go up in the neck. It is a prescription girth. Any of these shoulder relief girths, there's quite a few brands on the market, but anything shoulder relief is exactly that. Bring the buckle back, because there's a little bit of an angle going off this way. It's not a straight line across. You can go back and look at the post. I drew some lines on them and explained it better. This is a great girth, fantastic for these horses that are very sensitive in their elbows, heavily padded. Yes, the front will lift off. That's okay, because the pressure's still running through here, but what it's doing is keeping the buckles out of the elbows. So fantastic on the right horses. If you're using it just in general, you don't need it. Stop using it. If you're having any issues with your saddle fit, don't do this. Okay. This is a standard girth compared to our shoulder relief girth. So you can see if I lay this one on here, can you see how those buckles are on more of an angle here? And these ones are straight across. So this is a standard girth, fantastic girth for almost all horses. Straight across, little bit of shoulder cut through, triple elastic in here, big pads behind the elbows, and up where the buckles are going to sit. I'm really, really big on having padding behind the buckles. These should not roll off your girth at any time. They should stay in line here. When you're girthing up your saddle, make sure that you go through the keeper into the buckle before you pull up if you go through the keeper and then you pull, you're just going to rip the stitching. And I'll know. Do you know how many of these I fix and I explain to people? Don't pull on the keeper. Through the buckle, there's a roller on there. Help you roll it right through, okay? Fantastic girth for most horses. Very padded, super soft. Again, if it perishes and it cracks in here, it's no good for anything, okay? Bump to the front. Great girth for most horses. The other girths I do are sheepskin girths. Now, the important thing to know about these are not to be used on monoflap jumping saddles. Cotton, anything made on cotton like this, stitching is not strong enough to hold the amount of pressure and force that it takes when you're landing off a fence. When that horse's sternum rotates in there and the shoulders and everything moves, and the pull that will happen on these, you'll just snap your buckles out. Not safe. So I do not recommend anything cotton. You should have a good strong leather girth when you're doing cross country. Leather, we use very heavy wax thread, heavier materials to hold everything together so they can take the brunt of jumping. These are dressage girths, okay? These are for flat work only. I do two different types. I do the straight girth and I do a shoulder relief girth, or what we call a moon shape. This is a shoulder relief, exactly the same thing, moving it back out of the shoulders. Works on some horses, causes problems on others. I now do elastic in these, which I'm super excited about. It took a long time to get it right because on a cotton girth, it would end up a little bungeeing and rolling. Didn't like that, just wanted enough so you could get it tight. On a sheepskin girth, of course, it's bulkier, so sometimes you have to go up a size because you have the extra bulk. But horses that are sensitive to leather, horses that are just sensitive in general, these are great. It is pure lamb's wool, so heat and all that, it'll breathe under here. It's great. You can wash these. Of course, you gotta wash it correctly with wool wash and things like that. But this is, yeah, great girths, again, for people that need something for the more sensitive horse. This is an interesting one. You've probably seen lots of these very shaped girths, but this is Flex On, so it's the stirrup company. This is kind of a mix of leather and synthetics and, you know, triple elastic, big chest piece here with a clip for your breastplates or whatever other things you're using. Very stretchy, but can you see the shape of this? Do you see how these buckles go off on an angle just like the shoulder relief girths did? So this is the same idea. This is going to push back further back on the sternum. And you'll notice on a lot of jump saddles, the buckles are way far back. This is why they design these girths like that. So any of the French companies, they'll have girths with this weird cut this way. It's because the girth billets are so far back. So yeah, that's really a basis. Please ask me any questions or send me photos of your girths. I wasn't going to go out and buy all the different styles girths. I've talked about girths on my thing. I don't like gimmicky girths. I don't like fully elasticated bungee cord girths. I like a basic solid girth, okay? Nice, solid, fits your horse, matches his girth line.